Welcome to the next video. In today's video, I'm going to be working on this Polo Vivo. It's the 1.4 CLP engine. A friend of mine said that the car has got like a slight whistle the more they accelerate, a very, very slight whistle coming from the front. Now I know on these Polos there's a common fault on the manifold, where it's a stamped manifold, that the manifold actually cracks. So as you accelerate more, the more exhaust gas is coming out and it's creating a slight whistle. So we're going to have a look at that and see if I'm right. I have pre-ordered a manifold gasket and then the bottom gasket where it joins to the rest of the pipe after the cat. So let's dive in and have a look. There you can see it's just got a manifold cover or heat shield, and there's the O2 sensor. So I'm going to take out these two screws. There's two at the bottom that I need to remove. I'll remove the O2 sensor and then we'll have a look at the manifold and see if I'm right. Okay, firstly, to remove the O2 sensor I need a 22mm spanner. So we're going to take the O2 sensor out. O2 sensor is looking a bit dirty and that, so I'll just give it a clean up before we put it back. Okay, there's the bottom two. Now it's just to get this heat shield off. And I'm right, there's a crack in the manifold. There, clear as day, you can see the crack in the manifold. It is a common fault on these VW stamped exhaust manifolds. You can see there, it's quite a big one. So what I'm going to do to fix that, you find the end of the crack, you drill a small hole. Other end of the crack, you drill a small hole so that the crack cannot run further. And then we're going to TIG weld this up. I don't know when last this was removed, if it has ever been, so I'm just going to spray some WD-40 on the studs that are holding the manifold, so between the stud and the nut. WD-40 is a good penetrating spray, so if it has like sort of seized together, it will help get it off. So I'm going to spray it on and then leave it for about 5 or 10 minutes to soak in and see. And then I'm going to spray the bottom ones as well. On the bottom of the exhaust manifold, we've got this bracket that holds onto the bottom of the engine block. And then we've got the 3 bolts that hold the bottom of the exhaust manifold and the cat to the exhaust pipe. So I'm going to loosen these. I've just sprayed some penetrating oil or WD-40 on there, and then we'll loosen those in a couple minutes. Okay, I've given it a couple minutes for the penetrating spray to penetrate. Let's see if it's worked. Okay, so I got a 12mm spanner. I'm going to try to see if I can get in there with a 12mm spanner. Ow. Okay, I'm going to leave these top two on. I'll loosen the bottom. Then once the bottom is completely loose, I'll loosen these top two and then pull the manifold out. Okay, these are 16. So I've just had to use I've got 3/8 tube sockets. So I've had to use a 3/8 to 1/2 inch adapter. Wow, these are also tight. I'm gonna have to put this down. Okay, there I've cracked them, but they are still very, very tight. I think that one I'm going to spray a bit more penetrating spray on. Okay, these last two. All three bolts off. Time to loosen those top two, and then we can pull the entire manifold out. There's the manifold out. I'm gonna clean it up, wipe it. I need to clean the face up. Same thing here. And then to put new gaskets when I put it back. Let me put this aside. There's the old gasket. We're going to replace that. Okay, while I head across to my mate's shop to go weld, I'm going to just put some petrol in this dish and allow these to soak in some petrol for a little bit. For that, I'm just going to use a scraper. It's got a menorah blade in. And I'll just use a scraper to take all the bits off. And now I just want to clean up these studs. And for that, I'm just using a wire brush. And we need to drill the two holes at the start of the crack and at the end of the crack. So to do that, I've just got a little pin punch here. And I'm going to just give it a little tap so that my drill bit can actually bite. And I'm using a little, I think this is a 3.5mm tungsten. Okay, now we've got the hole at the one end of the crack and the hole at the other end of the crack. And then last bit of prep I just want to do quickly is to wire brush. While I was cleaning up, we spotted two more cracks on the bottom of the manifold, right around the same spot. So there's definitely a weakness in the stamping of the manifold there. So just done the exact same prep, cleaned it up, drilled the holes, and gonna weld those as well. Okay, let's see how well we do this time. Okay, that's that one done. Let me change this angle. How's that? Good, thank you. Yep. Okay, I think that's pretty much done. Now that the weld is done and sealed up, not the prettiest welds, but they will do there, and then the two, they sort of joined to one when I was welding, so I had to build up a bit. So that's the bottom, and there's the top. There's the new gaskets. It's a VW manifold gasket, and then the bottom gasket down by the exhaust. I'll show you where that goes. So there's the manifold gasket, which is the VW, that one there, and then down at the bottom there's that gasket. I'm going to brush these off, the studs off with the wire brush, and also just clean up the face, and then it's just to put back together. These I've just been leaving to soak in petrol the whole time, so I'm just going to give them a brush off with a old toothbrush, and then let them dry, and then they're ready to go back on. So I'm just going to put some copper slip on the studs for the manifold, just to ensure that if it ever does need to come off again, hopefully it's not seized on. Just put a little bit of copper slip on each one. Now it's ready for gaskets to go on, and then the manifold. I'm going to add some copper slip to these studs as well, and then that gasket to go over. It's the same both sides. Okay, I've also added, put copper slip on that before I slip the manifold down. So then that's just to put the nuts on. Sorry, it's a bit of a tight space. I didn't jack up the car because I didn't think it was necessary, but looking back it probably was. Anyway, we can do it. Okay, that's it on at the bottom. On at the top. Now just to put the nuts. Okay, now tighten the bottom ones on. Just about halfway so that it holds where it needs to hold. and then it's just to put all the top nuts onto the studs. Okay, from all the research I've done, I can't find the actual torque, which way you tighten the bolts, but I know it's 25 Newton meters. So what I'll do is I'll start from center out. I'm going to do that bottom one first, that one. I'll jump down to that bottom one, go across to that bottom one, top one, bottom. And that's tightening from the center outwards, 25 Newton meters. Okay, that's all of them up top here torqued. I just got to do the bottom ones, tighten up. These ones at the bottom here, I'm going to torque to 30 Newton meters. Use this wire brush again to just clean up the lambda or O2 sensor just on the threads to make sure that they're also clean. I've just actually screwed the lambda sensor back in quickly. Before I put the heat shield back on, I want to start the car and just make sure that there's no other leaks around here. So I could clearly feel air coming out the manifold earlier, but sounds good. Or I don't feel anything coming out anymore. Heat shield back in. Now it's just to tighten the top two screws, and then the bottom two screws, you can't see them from here. So there, you might be able to see that one down there. And then it's done. And then to wrap that up, it's just to put the O2 sensor or lambda sensor back in. And again, I'm just going to put a bit of copper slip on this. I'm going to obviously when we tighten it goes clockwise, so I'm going to pre-wind it anti-clockwise so that I can get it in and not twist the cable once it's seated properly. Just going to nip that. So that is that, all done and back together. I'm going to get it back to my mate and wait to hear if it's still making that whistle. I highly doubt it though. All the cracks in the manifold are now welded closed. and everything's put back properly and torqued back. So I'm sure that's all sorted now. Thank you very much for watching to the end of the video. It's greatly appreciated. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing, leaving a comment below letting me know your thoughts, and yeah, till the next video, goodbye.